Sal. Good evening. Well, in the space of a weekend, everything has changed. Suddenly, a referendum on independence looks all but inevitable. Now that both Labour and the SNP agree on the principle, is all that remains the question of timing. With Holyrood still echoing to the squeal of Labour's handbrake ton, members of the other unionist parties have talked of feeling stabbed in the back. And there's a sneaking impression this massive about-face was not part of a strategy coordinated with Downing Street, but a policy change dreamt up in the backwash of last week's electoral pummelling for Labour south of the border. Simon Willis reports.
They'd gone in with one policy, they came out with another. Today, Labour MPs switched from opposing an independence referendum to demanding one as soon as possible, a conversion their leader made at the weekend.
Some people say they were relieved that we finally got to this situation. But there was nobody in there at all. I just want to make that clear. Any objection to the decision was made.
We need to get this decided now, out of the way. Business cannot wait. The uncertainty for business is the worst possible thing for investment in Scotland, so I think we've made the right decision on this.
But was it a principled or tactical decision? Watch how this policy evolved from Sunday.
Some suggestion today in the Sunday Mail that Gordon Brown and perhaps Wendy Alexander too are ready to call Mr Salmond's bluff, i.e. you're ready to support a referendum to test his idea of independence. True?
Well, I think if I was, I wouldn't be announcing it on this programme.
Why not?
But then she started.
Well, as I say, of course there have been tactical discussions on these issues. I mean,
it's not about more than tactics. So this is about the future of the country, isn't it?
Absolutely, which is why I think it is so worrying that the SNP appear to be toying with the electorate of saying we want this. It's the reason we came into politics. But by the way, we're frightened to bring the matter forward. I don't fear the verdict of the Scottish people. Bring it on.
By Monday it was clearer.
I think the uncertainty is damaging to Scotland, and I think we should stop the huff and the puff and the bluff that we've seen from the SNP, and they should get on with it.
And today...
It's been around for 30 years. Let's resolve it.
It's claimed that gradual evolution was in fact Ms Alexander making up policy on the hoof. It certainly seems to reverse her previous arguments.
Why are you against the referendum? What's wrong?
Because I don't believe in independence. It's as simple as that.
So you think you might lose? That's why you're against the referendum?
No, far from it. There's not, if you believe in independence, argue for it. This is not my politics. I didn't come into politics to rip Scotland out of the UK. Those who want it should argue for it.
At first glance, Labour's new policy also seems to undermine Miss Alexander's big idea, the Constitutional Commission. Under Kenneth Calman, it will not consider the independence option.
And all of the work over the last few years makes it, I think, pretty clear that that's not an issue right now.
So privately, unionist parties feel stabbed in the back. Liberal Democrats even refused an SNP coalition because of the referendum issue. Of course, the clear aim is to put the nationalists on the back foot. Want a referendum? OK, why not now?
The SNP set a course in the election campaign last year. We said in our manifesto that we would work to build confidence in us as a government, that we would seek to engage people through the national conversation in the debate about independence, and that we'd bring forward legislation for a referendum in 2010. That's the course we have been pursuing. It's a course we will continue to pursue, and I think it's for Labour in their latest panic to make up their own minds on what their position is.
So we now have the curious situation of Scotland's Nationalist Party arguing against an early independence referendum. Of course, this is exactly the position Labour set out to create. It believes it's more likely to win an early referendum, but perhaps more importantly, it hopes the Nationalists will look increasingly silly arguing against what they've wanted for so long. But what will Labour do? Will Wendy Alexander carry out her suggestion to introduce a referendum bill in the Scottish Parliament? Because if this is just a posturing, tactical change of policy, Labour could be playing with fire.
We're now talking for very high stakes. We're not talking about the leadership difficulties of the Labour Party. We're not talking about the transient fortunes of party politics. We're talking about the future of the United Kingdom. And I certainly don't want to see that becoming a pawn in what is essentially a short-term political game.
Because this does not seem deliberately designed to distract attention from Labour's London woes. Indeed, the Prime Minister's spokesman pointedly refused to give Gordon Brown's support to Miss Alexander's policy change, or even acknowledge he'd discussed it with her. And after Scottish Labour MPs met tonight, one described the new policy as harebrained. The official comment was that a range of views had been expressed, and it was a matter for Wendy. There were certainly no plans for an independence referendum here.